Now let's welcome Mr. Clarence Chee. Okay, a very good afternoon to all viewers. Okay, actually, when Zelda asked me to submit my PowerPoint, I actually let it very open. Open in the sense that because the market as well as the economy is very uncertain, right? Especially the market is very volatile. So actually, I don't know what to share with you guys until yesterday. Isn't it? Things can change overnight. Now, okay, let me move the disclaimer. Usually, people find it very boring, but I need to put it there, right? But I assume that all of you have read it, even though I doubt that you can read. Okay, before I start, you know, all of us have gone through many crises, because by the look of your face, I roughly know how many crises you have gone through. Some of you may not have gone through any major crisis. That means it's good, right? Because you are too young for that. Now, when I first started working in 1984, right? So in 1985, my colleagues encouraged me to open a stock investing account with Philip Securities. Okay, and thank God, after I opened the account, I did not fund the account immediately, because in 1985, those of you who are as old as me will know that there was a first major recession faced by Singapore, right, because of the Pan Electric. How many of you have heard of Pan Electric? Okay, thank you for letting me know your age. So, of course, after that, I funded my account. I lost money. Okay, I lost money. How many of you actually play with clock shares? Lost money also, right? Nobody make money in clock, as far as I know. My colleagues lost all his savings for his wedding. Okay, and that's how bad it was. Now, I'm telling you this because every crisis is different. Now, if you can remember the global financial crisis, US dollar strengthened, right? During the global financial crisis. How about the current crisis? US dollar weakened. So every crisis, the market react and behave very differently. So if you know how the market react, you will be able to seize the opportunities. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. My first pot of gold that I made was not from the financial market. It was from the property market. Now, how many of you are aware that in the early 90s, a lot of people speculate properties by doing a lot of sub-sales, right? Before TOP, they sell off. Now, that was what I did. Now, I don't have money. So what I did was, I became an agent. But at the time, in the early 90s, you don't have to be a licensed property agent to sell properties. So I sold property for my boss, and he paid me 0.5% of commission. Now, how many of you like your boss to give you a part-time job? So now he asked me, he called me into his room and he asked me. Now, how many of you will do that if your boss asks you, knowing that you have zero experience in the property market? How many of you will tell your boss yes? Most probably a lot of people will not do that, right? Because you will always give yourself excuses. But I said yes to my boss. You know what my boss treat me? Lunchtime, he will bring me out, take a look at the projects. Because my boss is a VIP investor for Hong Leong, City D, Far East, All Green, Marco Polo, all these developers, and also the First Capital Corp. So that was when I made my first pot of gold, and 6 figure, and that actually gave me the courage to resign in 1994. Quit the corporate world and went into Forex trading. Now, when I first went into Forex trading, how many of you have heard of bucket shop? I traded with a bucket shop. Okay? And in 1996, when MBS banned Forex trading by the bucket shop, guess how much was gold? XAU USD. How much was gold in 1996? Early 1996. $500 is very close. It's actually 400. Record price of gold at that time, 800. A lot of people, now, what do you think you will do? If record price of gold is at 800, current price of gold as at 1996 is 400, what will you do? Long or short? Long or short? Long. If you long, you are wrong. Because gold in 2000 went to 200 over dollars. Those of you who monitor gold will know, right? In 2000, gold was doing around $200. What am I trying to tell you? There are a lot of opportunities during crisis. You understand what I'm saying? But you must first of all identify it. Okay? You must first of all identify it. So now, you find that dollar doesn't save anyone now in times of crisis. Now, during the Asia financial crisis, dollar strengthened, right? During the dot-com bubble, dollar strengthened. 911, dollar strengthened. Global financial crisis, dollar strengthened. This time, this current crisis, you buy dollar, you will lose big time. Right? Those of you who have been following the financial news will know that what the traders has been doing this week. Sell US treasuries, buy German bond, sell US dollar, and sell stocks. US stocks. Every time US stocks rally, they sell, and they hedge against gold. So if you understand the crisis, you know how the market react, there are opportunities. Okay? There are always opportunities. Now, another thing you need to know is this. Whether will you act or not. You know? Because a lot of people, every time you miss an opportunity in crisis, what happens? You lose time. So we are still in the early part of the opportunity. Okay? But the only problem is this opportunity may only last for 2 years. You know why? Because if you understand politics, last weekend there was demonstration against Donald Trump and maybe also against Elon Musk all over USA, right? Now, if during the midterm election, if the Democrats can win back the House and the Senate, they can actually impeach Donald Trump successfully. Because the Senate will be the one to give the verdict, not the Supreme Court. Now, you must understand that the Democrats were not successful in impeaching Donald Trump during his first term was because the Senate was under the Republicans. So the Republicans, of course, find him not guilty. But this time round, watch for the midterm election. Now, midterm election is next year. You are not going to wait until the midterm election, right? To seize the opportunity. So what should you do? Seize the opportunity now. Because if Donald Trump is being impeached successfully, then the opportunity is gone, right? Okay. Now, because I'm keeping this very open, so whatever I prepared, will be very different from what was in my mind 1 week ago. Okay, I decided to expose all because even if I give you all these points, I don't think anyone is interested to take photo, right? What is this? Nothing.
Not this piece, not this piece. I mean,
Definitely not from my side. Now I let you all take photo. Because I got nothing to share. So I got a lot of slides, but nothing to share. Okay, it's not nothing to share, nothing to expose. Okay, basically, U.S. equity has more room to fall. We all know that this week, what happened? The U.S. inflation data came out quite mild, right? In fact, lower than expectation. Basically, people are not buying. You understand what I'm saying? Consumers are not buying because of job insecurity, because of a lot of uncertainty. But that does not mean the worst is over, right? Because last night, consumer sentiment was bad. Right? University of Michigan consumer sentiment was bad. In fact, it dropped by the worst since World War II, if I'm not wrong. So you find that moving ahead, there's a lot of manipulation in the US stock market, especially by the high frequency traders. So do not be deceived when the market rebound, because it's all a deception. Okay? Because everybody is selling on rebound, selling on rally. And where do you think the funds are going to? Which market? Not all will go to gold. China. How many of you have heard of David Tepper? Nobody. 1%. David Tepper, multi-billionaire fund manager. Since September last year, he moved his funds into China. Are you aware that Hang Seng Index outperformed US stock indices? Okay, I myself am also a value investor. I tell you what I invest. I tell you now. But you can't take photo. But if you want to record, also can. But please record my due diligence. Okay, lose money, your problem. Basically, I'm into 3 Hong Kong ETFs. I know AIM doesn't provide ETFs, but just for entertainment sake, this is for entertainment. It's not investment advice. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not here to give you investment advice. I'm here to entertain you. Okay, number 1, 3032. Hang Seng Tech Index. If you don't want to acquire Hang Seng Tech Index, you can also acquire this HST listed in Asia. Next one is 3115. Okay, 3115 is a Hang Seng Index ETF. That means the underlying are the Hang Seng components of Egypt. Next one, global X Hang Seng Index. These 3. Okay, just continue to buy it. So, how many of you have heard that BlackRock CEO already fully recommending funds to go and buy European stocks? But today, no one is recommending to buy US stocks because of high valuation. So with this understanding, when you trade stock indices, you should know which direction to trade, right? But look at technical, because price entry is very important. Okay. Now, crypto, a lot of people are buying because of Donald Trump, right? Crypto is one of the Trump trades. Am I right? My suggestion to you, choose Bitcoin rather than Ethereum. Okay, but Bitcoin is very expensive, right? Never mind. If you know how to read charts, you can still make money. I strongly encourage you, but not advise. Remember, I'm here to entertain you. Everything I say is for entertainment, not advice. Trade crypto CFD, which aims have the products. Don't go and deposit your funds into the crypto exchange, because a lot of scams, right? They will say, oh, password change. The founder passed away. The account got hacked. Understand what I'm saying? So trade the crypto CFD rather than to trade the crypto with the crypto exchange, because it's very risky. Okay, it's very risky. Oil is very tricky, because a lot of forecasts on crude oil, WTI, US oil is targeting $54, $52, but also can rebound due to what? Geopolitical events, right? So we find that oil, I think Friday or Thursday rebounded. Reason is because of Iran, right? Okay, so I cut the story short. I'm not going to talk about Iran, because there could be war with Iran. Now, Donald Trump promised once he becomes president, there will be no war. Hey, how many wars started already? So, one lesson you need to learn is this: never trust Donald Trump. Even when he say you can make money. Hey, how many of you trust Donald Trump? Serious? How many of you really trust him? Pardon? Crash the market. That's not trust. That's confidence. Okay? So, I have already briefly covered US equity, more downside. Okay? Remember, I'm here to entertain you. Hong Kong equities, including China related equities, more upside. Now, China will definitely be able to survive through the tariff, right? Even with 145%, because you go and Google yourself, see for yourself over in the internet, what is the percentage of China's export to US? Very little, right? Very little. China can survive. It is Donald Trump who can't stand why Xi Jinping is not calling him. You know, he's waiting, and he is still waiting. Xi Jinping yesterday was busy with the Prime Minister from Spain, right? And then he will be coming down to Southeast Asia, right? Why is he not coming to Singapore? Because Singapore got 10% tariff only, right? The base rate. While Malaysia, Cambodia has higher rates. This is why he's visiting those countries that's been slapped with higher rates. So Singapore, never mind, 10%, Singapore can survive. Okay? Singapore can survive. No problem. So overall, my take, well, let me entertain you. Absolutely. China can survive without US. But US cannot survive without China because of what? The rare earth. US. Now, China he's going to restrict what? Movies made in US, but not much. That one has little impact, right? Because movies from Hollywood showed in China has been dropping, even in terms of box office. So that one is very minor. But despite the fact Warner Brothers shares dropped a lot, right? I think Thursday dropped by maybe 10 to 15% overnight. But that's a lot of money. So who is going to win the tariff war? China. Why? Because Xi Jinping doesn't believe in kissing whose ass? Those people who kiss Donald Trump's ass, they are the losers. Yeah, who our Prime Minister will not do that. So far I got no news. Done already. Yeah, he said that this is not how you should treat a friend, right? Yeah. How many of you are Malaysian here? I need to be very sensitive. Because your Prime Minister is leading the team, right? To represent ASEAN. But I don't think he will kiss the ass because he's a Muslim. Okay, just to show you how I trade. This is actually a new strategy, but new strategy or old strategy doesn't make any difference. Because I can show you a chart, a strategy that is very nice, very easy to use, very easy to learn. Can you learn? No, because it's all about psychology, right or wrong? I can tell you very simple, it's also about psychology. Okay? Now, this trade war is not an economical war. You realize that? It's not even a trade war. It's a psychological war. Who blinked first? You're not answering my question. My question is, who blinked first? Who already blinked? Trump blinked already, right? But he will give all sorts of excuses. He is the king of excuses. Nothing politics. So he basically is the king of excuses. Okay, so basically, can you see? Below the track, short. Above the track, long. Below the track, short. Very simple, right? It's simple as long as there is trend. If there's no trend, then it's very difficult. So you can see here got trend, right? Below the track, short all the way. If the trend is good, if the market is kind for us, okay, same. Above the track, can you see? You go long. Okay, same thing here. Now notice that I show you different charts because I'm trying to tell you that this strategy works for all markets. Now this one is for stocks. So AIMS MT5 stocks. So we also use this for shorting of this one is Nvidia. Okay, so you can use this to short Nvidia and long Alibaba. Okay. End of entertainment. Okay, thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to Mr. Clarence Chee.